Okay, here we go. So here, let's see from my beautiful Sefer Lachsis B'nayim Hashem. We're just going to tell you a nice story connected to the parsha. It says, Vayikra Moshe v'daba Hashem elav. Vayikra Moshe v'daba Hashem elav. So really, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to write the Vayikra. He wanted to write it. Rashi brings it down. The word Vayikar, like it was more of a happenstance. Things just happened, that it wasn't so showing this endearment to him, but Hashem insisted he put the aleph, so therefore he put the little aleph. Now listen to this. So there's a story with the holy Reba Rav Zushia, Meyanapoli. And he was a Talmud from the Maggid Mezrich. And he lived his life, and he was a very poor person. All the people in these little towns, they weren't very wealthy people. But Rav Zushia was a little bit different than everybody else. He would never ask anyone for any money. If people gave him money, he would take it. But he would never ask for money. He would never ask for money. And the people in the town were nice to him, and they realized what a tzaddik he was, and they would take care of him. But he had a daughter that became of marriageable age. And he needed the naden, he needed the dowry for his daughter, and his wife said to him, "Nu Zushia, we need some money. What do we do?" So the Rebbe of Zushia said, "All right, I'm going to go, and I'll see if I can go from a couple of towns, and I'll see if I can collect some money." So he hired a wagon to take him to a couple of towns. He goes from town to town. And again, he would never ask anybody for anything. Only if someone would talk to him, he would talk to them. He would never approach anybody. So he would go, and then people would give him something, but he was barely making enough money to cover his the coach expenses. And then he happened to it happened to be that the coach was heading towards the town of Koretz. The town of Koretz. So there was a great tzaddik there, Rav Pinchas Mikaretz. You heard of Rav Pinchas Mikaretz? Or the holy Koretz. It was a great tzaddik. Anyway, so he came into the town of Koretz. Oh, the Rebbe Rav Pinchas was so excited to see the Rebbe of Zushia. So he said, "No, what brings you to Koretz?" So he says, "I'm here because I'm collecting Achnos's Kala." Because he asked him, so he told him. So he says, "Who's the Kala?" My daughter. My daughter's the Kala. And so he asked him, "So how's your collections going?" "It's going, but I'm not coming anywhere what I need." So the Rebbe of Zushia stayed in Koretz with the Rebbe of Pinchas for a couple of days. And as the Rebbe of Zushia was going to leave Koretz, the Rebbe of Pinchas calls him into his office, and he takes out the 300 rubles. He takes out 300 rubles. It was a lot of money. And he wraps them in a handkerchief. He wraps it up to him in a handkerchief, and he gives it, and he tells him to go and he tells him Mazel Tov and go make the chasna. Rebbe Zushia was very happy because again, he didn't have to ask. He gave it to him. It fit the way he does things. All right. So he starts heading back to Annapolis, the good news for his wife. And the coach is riding, and they wind up stopping to rest for a little bit. The coachman was tired, so he stopped to rest. And when he he was in a town. And in this town, the Rebbe of Zushia heard that there's a lady screaming in the somewhere. He didn't understand who's screaming. So he got out of the wagon, and he was looking, and he saw in the town square, there was a lady, and there was so many people around him, and the lady was crying. So he went close to hear what was going on. And what happened? The lady lost her purse, and in her purse she had the money for her daughter, for the daughter's chasna, and now she's crying that they're going to break up the wedding. Her daughter's not going to get married because she doesn't have the money. I'm telling you, see that? I'm so glad you feel that way, mamish. Okay, anyway, so listen. Amazing. So the Rebbe Rav Zushia thinks to himself, he heard that she lost 300 rubles, and he had 300 rubles. Oh, he felt so good. He says, "I found your purse. I found your purse." They were so happy. He takes out from his pocket the things, and he opens it up, and he counts up 50 rubles, 100 rubles, 150, 200 rubles, 250, And he says, but the last 50 rubles I'm keeping. That's mine. The people were amazed. What do you mean you keep? You found the lady's money. How can you keep her 50 rubles? Give it back to her. The next thing he knew, he was standing. They slept in. The people slept into the Rav of the town, and he was standing in front of the Rav, and they were taken to a din Torah because they didn't understand this. And the Rav said, "I don't understand. You seem to be a very pious Talmid Chacham. So, what is this that you're taking the lady's money? If you found her money, you should give it back." So he says, "You know something? You're right. I'll give it back. Here's the money. You're right." And he goes on his way. A couple of weeks later, the Reba Rav Pinchas comes to this town, and he meets the Rav. And the Rav tells him, "Rebbe, I had a very strange case that came in front of me a couple of weeks ago, and I really don't understand it. How there was this great, because he was not a Hasidic person himself. So he says, you're a Hasidic Rebbe, so please explain this to me. This was a Hasidic person came here, such a beautiful Yid, and he found the lady's 300 rubles, but he didn't want to give her back only 250. He wanted to keep 50. How is that possible?" So the Reba Rav Pinchas understood. He says, "Oh, you know something? No. You don't understand. No. He didn't find that lady's, his name was Zushia, and he didn't find that lady's purse. I had given him the 300 rubles, and that was his 300 rubles that he wound up giving to the lady. He gave his own money. He didn't find it. He only said that he found it to make her feel good. But he actually gave his own money." He realized what a mistake he made. He accused the Reba Rav Zushia. He didn't understand, but now he was troubled. So why would the Reba Rav Zushia give 250 and hold 50? If he's giving the money, give all the money. What did he do? So Rav Pinchas told him he's going to probably be, if you want to see the Reba Rav Zushia, you'll probably find him in Medrich, by the Mezuzah Magid. Go over there and you'll ask him. So he takes a coach and he goes running express right over to Madrid, and he meets the Rebbe of Zushia. He says, "Rebbe, I don't understand. I found out from your friend the Rebbe of Pinchas that it was your money. So if it was your money, why didn't you just give over the 300? Why did you hold 50? Why did you do that?" The Rebbe of Zushia said, "I felt like this." He says, I felt that when I was giving this money, that I was doing such a great thing. I felt like I'm doing such a gewaldige mitzvah. And I realized, what am I doing? Hashem put me in this situation, that's why I'm doing it. So I wanted to detract from myself from that I'm doing such a great thing. So I said, I'll keep 50 for myself. Because really, he didn't do anything wrong. Really, it was his own money. It was his money. So he didn't want it to be that he was doing something so great. So he went through a little bizyonis. They took him to the Bezdin and this, and then he gave the 50, not because he didn't want to give her the 300 rubles. He didn't want to feel. It was such a sensitivity that the tzaddik had, that he didn't want it to be that he feels that he's doing something so great, that it's as if he's doing it. Hashem put him in this circumstance, in this situation, that the Rebbe of Pinchas gave him the 300, that the wagon stopped at this town, and he got out and he happened to hear this lady at this time, and then he gave the money over. So then we see again how Moshe Rabbeinu understood. Moshe Rabbeinu understood that things, he was like Vayikar. He didn't want to mean there was such a special thing that Hashem is talking to me. So he wanted to be Vayikar. He doesn't need it. It just happened. Hashem was talking to me. Not that I did something so great. The same with the Rebbe of Zushia. I was doing something. I wasn't doing something so great. And I hope we can understand the beauty of the tzaddikim, and the beauty of how their sensitivity was for mitzvahs. That when we're giving money for tzedakah, when we're doing things, to realize that Hashem gave us the opportunity. It's not something that we're doing on our own. Hashem gave us the opportunity, put us in the circumstance, in the situation to do this. So we should thank the Rebbeinu Shalom for each situation He puts us in, for what we can give over to people, and we should have a nice Shabbos.